Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another video interview for DECT Today magazine and the DECT Forum YouTube channel. You may remember that just over a month ago, Legrand, Schneider Electric, and Siemens Smart Infrastructure, all global leaders in smart building technology, announced the formation of a Strategic Interest Group, or SIG, to tackle critical challenges in providing ultra-resilient and interoperable wireless connectivity everywhere in buildings using the new DECT NR+ standard technology. The group will collaborate under the hosting of the DECT Forum. Now today I'm talking to one of the representatives of that group, and that's Klaus Waechter, Global Standardisation Manager at Siemens Smart Infrastructure. Klaus will help us understand how the SIG will work and the reasons why Siemens chose to participate. So Klaus, let's start if we can. Tell us the background to your company and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm with Siemens for around about 34 years already.
Okay.
And I'm active in the area of building automation. So my company, the Smart Infrastructure Buildings part, we provide products and services for building automation, energy management, access control, and fire protection. So all around the building. We are a global player, and we are one of the largest suppliers in this field for such building automation solutions. So I would say we are in the big three, so one of the three biggest in that area. Our focus is on products and on systems. So we are as well a product supplier, but also a system supplier, and that makes us special because some of our competitors just do products, which is nice and which is important, but to really create a system out of that is yeah, a next step, a next level. Yeah.
And which part of the building automation sector would you say your company is addressing? Is it just commercial? Is it residential? Is it industrial? What?
Yeah, so the huge focus is on commercial, but we also do industrial buildings. We go even up to airports, the really big facilities. Since some years, we also have now a smart home solution in our offering. So we are getting broader and broader because the issues are more or less the same if you have your one single family home or you have your office building or you even have your airport. So it's mainly energy price, it's indoor climate, health environment, and fire protection and things like this. So it's more or less just another scale, but it's always around the building, and the size of the building is just then driving which portfolio of Siemens you will use. Yeah.
Okay, and what sort of solutions are you offering today, and what wireless technologies are they based on?
Yeah, since around about 15 years already, we have IP-based products. So we was one of the first company going to Ethernet. In a very seldom case, we have wireless connection, Wi-Fi connection so far. Wi-Fi never really did it in the building automation,
No.
which mainly has to do with the battery-powered devices. So Wi-Fi is too much energy consuming. But in a modern building, a smart building, you have already a network infrastructure. And in that infrastructure, we can use our devices as well. So 20 years ago, when you bought some building automation, we come even installing the network. So this was RS-485 based networks. So really simple things, slow things, because there was no existing network infrastructure in a building. Today, we always say there is three things they need to flow. This is energy, this is water, and this is data. And if all of this is flowing, then your building is successful.
Yes.
But without this network infrastructure, a building will not be successful. And so most of the customers want us to use this existing infrastructure. But this has limits. So there is some Ethernet ports in a floor. But if you have to really go anywhere in that floor with window contacts or with sensors or with actuators, dampers, then wireless solutions will be more and more playing a role in such a building. So this last mile
Yeah.
will more and more become wireless. Yeah.
Well, I've been aware that people have been talking about smart buildings for a very long time. What do you see as the current state of the smart buildings marketplace?
Driven by the European Commission,
Yeah.
they have this European Performance of Building Directive, EPBD, now for more than 5 years in the market. Let's say the role of a smart building is quite changing. So in the beginning, it was mainly comfort. So having it cool in the summertime and having it warm in the wintertime, and the people was happy.
Yeah.
Now, energy costs, energy management, even getting the grid more stable is a real part of our job as well. So doing the things not permanently storing. So for example, if you have more energy as you need on a sunny day outside, so what to do? You can store the energy in a battery, but batteries have a limited capacity and even the efficiency is low.
Yeah.
But you can, for example, store in an ice storage. And such an ice storage is much more efficient, and not using the chiller is very, very cost efficient. So if you are prepared with this, or even when you build your new building and you use the concrete of your building
Mhm.
already as storage, which is possible, but you have to do it from the beginning. Um, that's very nice strategies. So today, the strategy is not just having a nice indoor climate. It's really having this nice indoor climate and save a lot of money and save the planet. So all of that, there, this is the best you can do in a combination. Yeah.
And what do you think are the biggest challenges this market is facing?
Yeah. As always, the people don't like changes. So when you are already a customer and you have your system for 20 years, um, your interest in new technologies is most likely limited. So because anything went well and yeah, it's good for you. You really you like it what you have. So new technologies, even things like AI, which is all over now, will be very, very helpful even in a smart building. It will be very helpful to do the right decision, because based on your building data, an AI could be very helpful to support you doing the right thing in the right moment. But on the other hand, the people are very slow with such things. So on the one hand, we have to invest as a manufacturer in these new technologies. On the other hand, the market is not going that fast in that direction. So and this gap makes it really difficult, because in the end, it's question your investment, and this is not good to do it. And then even when we talk about wireless technology, the people had bad experience in the past, because in the past wireless was mainly point to point,
Mhm.
and if a point to point is broken, then you have to send somebody, you have to send a service technician into the building, um, and that's very expensive. So if we look at today's technologies, we mainly use mesh, so we use self-healing networks, but the customers do not understand the difference between point to point and mesh. This is not their core competence, most likely.
Sure.
And so this is a real challenge to convince the consultants, the planners, even the architects, they don't like to have all these antennas. Architects are artists. They want to have a clear picture of a building and no sensor and no antenna in their way. But this is not reality. In a real building, you need all this stuff. So this is one of the main challenges we see in the moment. So this transition to the new technologies, which is able to help to make your building even more sustainable, save more money, and even keep the building sustainable for a decade or longer. Because this is even today an issue. Most buildings are sustainable when you hand them over, but a year or 2 years later, they are not. So a lot of things are changed, set points, schedules, however, and so a smart building, a real smart building, which has some support, for example, with AI, will avoid that. It will tell you what is the consequence if you now change the set point or if you change the schedule, and you will be aware what you're doing, which is not the case today. So the technologies are there, but bringing these technologies into the buildings, this is the challenge in the moment. The people are very conservative.
Yes, I understand this. And the good news is that that gives us the opportunity to talk about some of the reasons why DECT NR Plus can help here. So tell us your views of the value and the purpose and the potential of DECT NR Plus and the SIG itself.
Yeah, so we already have a very good experience with Thread. Thread also is a mesh. It's IPv6. It's full on IP. It helps us with all the topic of end-to-end security and all these things. So, but it's short range. It's let's say 50 to 300 meters roundabout.
Yeah.
And this is now the promise of DECT's new radio. DECT NR Plus could be several kilometers, and that's something what we are missing today. There is technologies like LoRa covering this range, but not covering the data rate, not really fulfilling all the promises that DECT is showing us. So here we see with DECT and Thread, we see a perfect combination, because as long I'm in a room, so individual office, for example, so I'm very happy with Thread. Even without internet connection, my IPv6 network is working. I can control my blinds, my lights, my door. And the same is then possible with DECT as well, because it's another IPv6 network which will be up and running even without internet connection. And this is a real promise. So most of the people do not understand when you switch on your light today for Bluetooth bulb, you go over your Wi-Fi to the cloud and then back, but with DECT or with Red, this is not needed anymore.
No.
You don't need that. You really can directly control these devices in your building, in your room, or even in your street because of the range. And that's the huge difference. And this is what we even want to address in the new subgroup in the DECT forum, do more marketing for it and spread the word so that the people and even more manufacturers understand why we are going that way, why we are so attracted by this technology.
Well, things are changing all the time, but do you consider that as of today, NR Plus is the optimum technology for secure, long-range, low-power and easy-to-commission wireless connected systems? And at the same time, what competition is it facing?
Yeah, competition mostly comes over time.
Yeah.
So in the moment, we do not really see competition to DECT NR Plus. What is very promising is that it's a different type of technology. So that's pretty good. What is also very promising is that it will work in most of the areas of the planet already today. So China is still a challenge,
Yep.
but all the rest is possible. So the only technology we have today is Wi-Fi, covering such a huge area. And yeah, we already said Wi-Fi is using a lot of energy. So here, the challenge with DECT in, let's say from Siemens point of view, is that we have to tailor it down in a way that we can live with a battery for several years.
Yeah.
So let's say at least three to 4 years would be nice, to go to that level. We think this is possible. So we are just in the beginning with testing and figuring out, and even with the standardization of it, there is a room for improvements. That's not a problem. So we have to work together with all the partners to make that happen. And so in the moment, as I said, competition might show up in some years, because this is a new area. Yeah. So even from a manufacturer point of view, it's not so easy to make them aware about this new technology. What is very good, as I said, it's already used as a 5G standard, so
Yeah.
that makes it visible. This is really perfect. So it's not propriety. It's also promising to fulfill all the cybersecurity needs we have in front of us, and they will come more in the next years because it's IP. It's IPv6 already. So there is from our point of view, all these starting conditions is good, and what we're using on top of it is protocols. Some of them we use already for 30 years. So it's very simple. If such a protocol is going for a half stack topology, so that you can use the application as the one half of the stack, and then let's say more or less any IP-based technology as the other half of the stack. So very, very rough. Then it's easy to just replace Wi-Fi by thread, or thread by DECT, or DECT by Wi-Fi. So just which use case you have to cover. If you have a powered device, if you have a battery powered device, if you have a non-constrained or a constrained device, so you have a kind of a Lego system where you just put together the things you need. And for big companies like Siemens, this is really interesting because we can then use it in any domain with any application. And so for us, it's good to have a number of such, let's call them core technologies, and then your application, you're always flexible. You can even if there will be a new application, you use your existing transport, plug it together, and it will work. So as bigger you are as a manufacturer, as more opportunities you have in the end. So it's not limited to building automation. As I said, you can use it for energy management. You might even can use it for fire detection, or fire sensors, whatever. So there is a lot of fields. Lighting is also very interesting. Blinds, a lot of fields where this technology can play a role. So that makes it really interesting. And even in the industry, there is a need in the industry also to connect sensors wireless. And to be honest, look at today's possibilities. You can use Bluetooth. Yeah. Do you really want to connect the industry sensor with Bluetooth? Even with thread, it's limited 300 meters. In a factory, that's nothing. So it will not really cover your needs. Now looking at DECT new radio, this is looking very promising here. So and it's a very simple job. It's just connecting some sensors over the air with yeah, in a big factory, or even yeah, other big buildings. So in the end, how the building is used is not that important. It's mainly the size, and if you can cover the size by your wireless solution, that will be the driver for this market. Yeah.
Well, with the support of companies like yours and Legrand, Schneider Electric, and the formation of this new SIG, it certainly feels as if the momentum is going in our favour. But what do you think it will take for NL Plus to become kind of the default solution of choice for the building automation sector?
Yeah, there is one, let's say one rule,
Mm.
which is valid in Siemens, but it's also valid in a lot of other companies. We need different manufacturers for the supply chain.
Yeah.
Because Siemens and even others, we would never trust only on one chip vendor. No way. You remember there was supply chain crisis not that far away. And if you trust on one vendor, your business is down immediately and your investments is gone immediately. So we have a clear rule that at least we need two chip vendors, better three.
Yep.
And that's in the moment an issue. So here we have to work on
Yep.
it. But to be honest, even I have talked to some chip vendors already to make them aware
Yes.
about this technology, because I think it is also a good possibility for a chip vendor to grow. It's a new market, a new area. 1.9 gigahertz is typically not on their agenda.
Sure.
So that's one of the boundary conditions. So before we don't have at least two or three chip vendors, we are not allowed to use this technology in a product. Also, and I think this is, as I said, true for all the others as well.
Yeah.
So here we need not just to convince our typical competitors, because you might ask yourself why Siemens will convince the competitors. Building automation lives with interoperability. So a customer in building automation will choose the best from different manufacturers.
Yeah.
This is typically done in the last 2 decades, and this will ongoing. So maybe from the one company, the dampers are the best, and from the other company, the sensors the best, and from the next company, maybe the valves are the best. So you choose them, and then you put them together, and they work as a system. This is already ongoing today, and therefore, if you would just as one company use this technology, most of the customers would not buy that. They will see this technology at least from 2, 3 other of your competitors, and then they believe that this is a good and the right technology, and they will go for it. So that's why when we are in the beginning, as now with such a new technology, we come together as we did here with Schneider and Legrand, and we found such a group. And then we start talking to all our competitors and convince them to join the group as well, to grow together and to make the solution from the beginning interesting for customers. That's in our days, that's a must. You have no choice.
Sure.
But think about yourself. Most of the time, you are also a customer.
That's true.
So what would you do? You would do it exactly the same way. And this, if you put yourself in the shoes of a customer, you fully understand why this is important. That's simple.
Indeed. Absolutely. So we've already alluded to the fact that the building automation marketplace moves slowly. Do you think it's the right time for this project to be launched?
To be honest, yes.
Okay,
Why?
that's good.
When you look at Brussels, all these acts, these regulations, directives coming out of Brussels, a Green Deal, the cybersecurity things, energy management, energy consumption things. Most of the manufacturers did not have a high focus on these topics before. But now, in let's say the next 2, 3, maybe 4 years, it depends a little bit about the regulation, you have to fulfill this. So they all start now to plan the next portfolio, to plan the next investment, to think about, okay, what is our communication strategy in the future?
Yeah.
What should we do different? Where is some opportunities we didn't have before? And now when we even have to invest, we should at least have a look at it. And that's why I really think the timing is good. So we have a lot of such regulations in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be a little bit better structured time-wise from Brussels, but all in all, it's okay. So it's about the next 3 to 5 years where we have to have solutions. And that's a good timing even for DECT NR Plus. So we have exactly now this in front of us. We can already start with the available chips to do some prototypes,
Yeah.
to test, to learn about the technology, even talk with customers about the acceptance of such technologies. Some of them are pro wireless, others are not. So even there you have to talk with them, doing now the right thing to set the future, to set your future portfolio. And when we talk about commissioning of wireless devices, especially battery powered wireless devices, your commissioning is up to 40% faster. So this is even something that people start to understand and plan accordingly. So if we now would have to plan all these things without the opportunity to have Thread and DECT as the two wireless solutions, the situation would be much worse. So here, I really think we're in a good environment, and we have a short solution, we have a short range, we have a long range solution. We can combine them. They're mainly having at least some of the features in the same way. So NR Plus has some more features. Yeah, maybe with the long range, this is even needed to have a little bit more features to be very reliable and sustainable. But I think this is really now, from time-wise, a very good starting point. But again, we have to start now even with our group to do the marketing and spread the word.
Well, that brings me on to what's my last question, Klaus, and that's how can the DECT forum best foster or nurture or support the NR plus C?
All in all, the best visibility, and even, let's say, from a cost perspective, is industry trade shows.
Okay.
So I just was at the ISH in Frankfurt some days ago, and to be honest, this is a win-win-win situation. So you meet customers, you meet planners, but you also need your competition. So everybody's there. So instead of flying around 10 times, you go there for a week and you meet all the important people, and you can talk with them. You can try to convince them. You might even show them some documents, whatever. So industry trade shows helps a lot. Independently of the group you want to convince, because there are so many different groups at these trade shows anyhow. So maybe the CES in Las Vegas next January would be a very good place to be, because there's a lot of important people, and then maybe the AHR show the ASHRAE show in US, and then Light in Building next year in March in Frankfurt again. So this is the things I'm focusing very much. So with the DECT forum together, having a DECT booth there, and then use this DECT booth to spread the word about, for example, NR Plus and such topics. That's what I'm looking forward. We have a lot of experience doing these things. So we have different kind of technologies, and from my experience, as I said, for more than 30 years, it's really industry trade shows is one of the best places you can be. Then as we do today, interviews, magazines, videos, even YouTube videos are very important. A lot of people use them, even I use them a lot. So it's a good source of information. But I really count on the trade shows.
Thank you very much for that feedback, Klaus. That'll certainly go back into our discussions at the DECT Forum. I appreciate your time today, and I'm really looking forward to us working with you in the coming months and years. Thank you very much, Klaus.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot. Thank you.